A lot of people are asking me about pardons. Obviously, this is no time to be talking about pardons.
We haven't asked for anything. This is not a situation where we're asking anything in return for testimony or anything like that. Of course, everybody knows Ms. Maxwell would welcome any relief.
You ought to be speaking about Bill Clinton, who went to the island 28 times. I never went to the island.
Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, has been moved to a lower security federal prison camp in Texas. Ghislaine Maxwell is serving her 20-year sentence for helping the late financier and sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Maxwell's move from FCI Tallahassee, a low-security prison, to the federal prison camp in Bryan, Texas, comes a week after she met with Deputy U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche. Deputy U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche met with Maxwell and attorney David Oscar Marcus at a federal courthouse in Tallahassee, Florida. Marcus said that, although Maxwell's team has not spoken to anyone in the Trump administration about a pardon.
The president today reminded people he has the power to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell. Is that something that you're going to be asking for?
We haven't asked for anything. This is not a situation where we're asking anything in return for testimony or anything like that. Of course, everybody knows Ms. Maxwell would welcome any relief. She's been in very difficult conditions for 5 years, and so she would welcome any relief. It's the right thing to do, and we have faith that the right thing will happen sooner rather than later.
Did you get
Was there an ask from?
I'm sorry?
Did you get a sense of what the goal of this interview was?
The goal is the truth. It's time for the truth to come out.
David, did she or you have an ask of the Deputy Attorney General?
No. There have been no asks and no promises, and nothing like that has been made.
What's the next step for in her process then?
Well, Congress has subpoenaed her to testify. We have to make a decision about whether she will do that or not. That's been scheduled for the week of August 11th, and we haven't gotten back to them yet on whether we'll do that.
You had said it was going to be based on how this meeting with the Deputy Attorney General went. Are you satisfied with how it went, and how would that inform your decision to participate in Congress?
I think Ghislaine did a wonderful job. She literally answered every question. She didn't say, you know what, don't ask me that. I'm not going to talk about this person. She was asked maybe about 100 different people. She answered questions about everybody, and she didn't hold anything back.
But isn't the information that came out from this interview that wasn't discussed during the trial, or?
Oh, the trial. There was so little discussed at the trial. A lot of people have said, well, why didn't she testify at trial? The case wasn't proven at trial. She has a Fifth Amendment right. Very different situation. I was surprised to hear folks that know better saying she should have testified at trial. That's silly. When the government doesn't prove their case, you don't testify. And so she didn't testify at trial, but it's a different situation now.
With the president even invoking the word pardon today, does she have an incentive to just tell the Deputy Attorney General what he wants to hear?
No, because she wants to tell the truth, because the truth can be corroborated or disproven. If she lies, they could charge her with lying.
They did charge her with perjury.
That was dropped. They did charge her with that. That was dropped. And it's interesting, right? Because the Southern District of New York had a very specific view of the case and charged her in a way that we believe was disproven and wrong. And that's what one of our goals is now, is to try to show how they got it wrong.
If she is seeking a pardon, how do you go about doing that now with a potential congressional testimony pending, with the Deputy Attorney General?
We're going to take one day at a time. I know that's very cliche, but it's true, because things are happening so quickly. We haven't spoken to the president or anybody about a pardon just yet. And listen, the president this morning said he had the power to do so. We hope he exercises that power in the right and just way. Thank you. That's all I have for you.
Trump has been under growing pressure from his supporters and political opponents to release more information about the Justice Department's investigation into Epstein. U.S. President Donald Trump said it was not the time for talking about pardons when asked about Ghislaine Maxwell.
I really have really nothing to say about it. She is being talked to by a very smart man, by a very good man, Todd Blanche. And I don't know anything about the conversation. I haven't really been following it. A lot of people are asking me about pardons. Obviously, this is no time to be talking about pardons. But a lot of people have asked about pardon. This is just not a time to be talking about pardons. Todd will come back with whatever he's got. You're making a very big thing over something that's not a big thing. You should be talking about, if you're going to talk about that, talk about Clinton, talk about the former president of Harvard, talk about all of his friends, talk about the hedge fund guys that were with him all the time. Don't talk about Trump. What you should be talking about is the fact that we have the greatest 6 months in the history of a presidency, according to a lot of people. And we had an amazing 6 months. And this is sort of an example of it. Now we're meeting with the European Union, we're also meeting with, as you know, the head of UK, Prime Minister, and I look forward to that. But we're meeting, in terms of a deal, we're meeting with the European Union, and that would be actually the biggest deal of them all if we make it.
Did you ask House Republican leaders to not vote on the resolution about releasing the files?
I was never involved in that. I'm focused on making deals. I'm not focused on conspiracy theories that you are. I mean, I watch you people. It's so sad. You ought to talk about the success of our country instead of this nonsense that you talk about over and over again.
Republican lawmakers are cautioning President Trump to be very careful about granting a pardon to Ghislaine Maxwell. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer announced that they'll use an obscure federal law known as the Rule of Five in an attempt to force the Justice Department to release more documents related to the Jeffrey Epstein case.
This morning, I was really proud to join every single one of my Democratic colleagues on the Homeland Committee in invoking a century-old and little-known law known as the Rule of Five to compel the Department of Justice to release the full and complete Epstein files. Under federal law, when any 5 senators on the Homeland Security Committee call on the executive branch, the executive branch must comply. Our request covers all documents, files, evidence, and other materials in possession of the DOJ, the FBI, related to the case of the United States versus Jeffrey Epstein. While protecting the victims' identities can and must be of top importance, the public has a right to know who enabled, knew of, or participated in one of the most heinous sex trafficking operations in history. Let me remind everyone of what's happened in recent months. Donald Trump campaigned on releasing the Epstein files. He broke that promise. In February, FBI Director Kash Patel promised during sworn testimony in his confirmation hearing he would, quote, make sure the American public knows the full weight of what happened. Well, that has yet to happen. A.G. Bondi said in February that a supposed, quote, client list, she said, was sitting on her desk right now to review. And she said that's been a directive by President Trump. 5 months later, we have 0 answers, only more questions. What have we gotten since? Stonewall, evasion, lies. Trump was asked earlier this month if he had ever been informed whether or not he was mentioned in the Epstein files, and now we know he lied. He said no, but in fact he was told by the Attorney General in May that he was mentioned. And when the House had an opportunity to take votes on the Epstein files, Speaker Johnson skedaddled out of town, launching the Epstein recess. This is not complicated. After promising full transparency for years, every single time Trump, his administration, Republican leaders have had a chance to be transparent about the Epstein files, they've chosen to hide. The evasions, the delays, the excuses, they are not just odd, they're alarming. It begs the question, if there's nothing to hide, why all the evasiveness? Trump should stop hiding from the truth. He should stop hiding from the American people.
Trump appeared with Epstein at social events in the 1990s and early 2000s. Trump's name, along with many other high-profile individuals, appeared multiple times on flight logs for Epstein's private plane in the 1990s. Trump has denied ever being on the plane and has not been accused of any wrongdoing.
President, have you heard about Todd Blanche's interview with Ghislaine Maxwell? And would you pardon or clemency for doing
Well, I don't want to talk about that. What I do want to say is that Todd is a great attorney, but you ought to be speaking about Larry Summers. You ought to be speaking about some of his friends that are hedge fund guys. They're all over the place. You ought to be speaking about Bill Clinton, who went to the island 28 times. I never went to the
Do
island.
you maintain you did not write a letter for Jeffrey Epstein's birthday?
I don't even know what they're talking about. Now, somebody could have written a letter and used my name, but that's happened a lot. All you have to do is take a look at the dossier, the fake dossier. Everything's fake with that administration. Everything's fake with the Democrats. Take a look at what they just found about the dossier. Everything is fake. They're a bunch of sick people. Where did you see the people laying outside?
Right across the street from Lafayette Park, sir, towards 15th.
We'll take care of it.
What are you hoping Todd Blanche gets out of his meetings with Ghislaine Maxwell?
Well, I don't know about the meeting. I know it's taking place, and he's a fantastic man. He's a great attorney, and people should really focus on how well the country's doing, or they should focus on the fact that Barack Hussein Obama led a coup, or they should focus on the fact that Larry Summers from Harvard, that Bill Clinton, who you know very well, and lots of other friends, really close friends of Jeffrey Summers, should be spoken about, because, you know, Jeffrey Epstein should be spoken about, and they should speak about them, because they don't talk about them, they talk about me. I have nothing to do with the guy.
Maxwell has told House lawmakers that if she were to receive clemency, she would testify openly and honestly before Congress about Epstein, according to a letter her attorney David Marcus sent to the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee.